I'm Pastor Misty Howick. I am an ordained elder in the United Methodist Church. I serve in the Desert Southwest Conference. If you don't know where that is, that's Arizona and Southern Nevada. And it is a pleasure to be with you. We're here at 5:25 p.m. our time. I know we were supposed to do it at 2 o'clock. I had another busy day of interviews. I serve as the chair of our district committee on ministry for our district, and I also serve on the board of ordained ministry. So guess what time of year it is? It is the year for interviews. So I just want to pray blessings on all the candidates who came through either the DCOM or the BOOM, the Board of Ordained Ministry, and good luck to you all in the future as you continue pursuing ordination in the United Methodist Church or a role as a local pastor. So today we're actually doing Proverbs, I believe it is 13. It looks like we've already done Proverbs 12 and we've done 11. So today is Proverbs 13. And so I put Proverbs 12 in the title. I'll go ahead and change that. So maybe when you see it, it's the right one. It's 13. I'm going to go ahead and read it. And then there's just a couple of notes that I have today on this chapter of Proverbs. Thank you for joining us for this opportunity to do this Lenten exploration of Proverbs. The question is Proverbs a book of the Hebrew Bible that we can continue to learn from? Are there threads of wisdom here that apply even today? Or is Proverbs just a book to be taken contextually, historically only? So here we go, Proverbs 13. A wise child loves discipline, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke. From the fruit of their words, good persons eat good things, but the desire of the treacherous is for wrongdoing. Those who guard their mouths preserve their lives. Those who open wide their lips come to ruin. The appetite of the lazy craves and gets nothing, while the appetite of the diligent is richly supplied. The righteous hate falsehood, but the wicked act shamefully and disgracefully. Righteousness guards one whose way is upright, but sin overthrows the wicked. Some pretend to be rich, yet have nothing. Others pretend to be poor, yet have great wealth. Wealth is a ransom for a person's life, but a poor person pays no attention to a rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked goes out. By insolence, the empty-headed person makes strife, but wisdom is with those who take advice. Wealth hastily gotten will dwindle, but those who gather little by little will increase it. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Those who despise a word bring destruction on themselves, but those who respect a command will be rewarded. The teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, so that one may avoid the snares of death. Good sense wins favor, but the way of the faithless is their ruin. The clever do all things intelligently, but the fool displays folly. A bad messenger brings trouble, but a faithful envoy, healing. Poverty and disgrace are for the one who ignores instruction, but one who heeds reproof is honored. A desire realized is sweet to the soul, but to turn away from evil is an abomination to fools. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools suffers harm. Misfortune pursues sinners, but prosperity rewards the righteous. The good leave an inheritance to their children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for the righteous. The field of the poor may yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. Those who spare the rod hate their children, but those who love them are diligent to discipline them. The righteous have enough to satisfy their appetite, but the belly of the wicked is empty. So those are the 25 verses of chapter 13 of our Proverbs. And you might have caught some of those verses that you have heard before or have been used before regularly. Again, we're looking at a whole bunch of antithetical couplets, right? Those lines where there's one line and then it says basically the opposite right underneath, just to get a point across. I have to say, there's so many in here that are just, I smack my head going, yeah, of course. The one in there about wisdom, let's see. Um, I just couldn't. I was like, this is just the same thing. Um, yeah, the clever do all things intelligently, but the fool displays folly. Verse 16. Yeah, that's kind of like the definition of clever is that you do things intelligently, and the definition of a fool is that you do things that display folly. So to me, I'm not sure if it's translation or it just, it hasn't endured well through this century. That one, that is one example of maybe sometimes we don't have to apply meaning to today's culture to every single couplet. But I do want to go back. So, verse 24, you will know this one. It is one of the most well known proverbs ever. Those who spare the rod hate their children, but those who love them are diligent to discipline them. And you could easily take this as a biblical, not mandate, but allowance for hitting your children, right? If you think that the rod is literally a rod that you smack your kid with. As we found out in chapter 10, that's not what it means. The rod is thought of to be rebuke or advice, right? And that's why I asked, how well are you able to take advice? Is that something that you're able to do? I think it pops up several times in this chapter. So really, instead of allowing us the thought that we should be beating our children to discipline them, it's actually, we should be setting boundaries and we should be providing advice and even rebuke for them when they stray, past those lines that are good for them. So it's interesting, that one. And if you disagree with me, that's fine, but I'm gonna want some sources for your thoughts. Number 23, verse 23, the field of the poor may yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. Finally, something in all of these chapters that does not automatically assume that if you're poor, you've done something wrong, or if you're wealthy, you're righteous, right? It does critique wealthy and how they get their wealth. But finally, we have something about injustice here. The field of the poor may yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. How well said. And something for us definitely to take to heart even now and today. People may steal, calamity may occur to people, and now, even though they're diligent, hard workers, they're not in the best position financially. Last little note as we approach the 8.5 minute mark for our study together today, number 12 and number 19. So these verses, they actually, to me, they complement each other. It feels like one starts off and then the other kind of finishes the thought. Number 12, and it's beautiful poetry too. I love the way that this is translated into English. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. I get that. That's beautiful poetry for what I feel when a dream of mine comes true or a desire is fulfilled. When, my husband comes home at the end of the day, it's a tree of life. I feel very joyous. Hope deferred, anytime that you have a diagnosis or a test, a medical test, and you're waiting for a diagnosis, hope deferred makes the heart sick. You get that anxious feeling inside. I feel like that's an example of this passage. If we go to verse 19, a desire realized is sweet to the soul, but to turn away from evil is an abomination to fools. So that first part of the couplet, a desire realized, fits the second part of verse 12, a desire fulfilled, and how sweet it is. It's a tree of life. It is sweet to the soul. And then that second part of verse 19, but to turn away from evil is an abomination to fools. So I think that has to do with desires, right? And to a fool, they will continue to pursue harmful desires, and to turn away from those, they would say it would be foolish. Those are my thoughts for chapter 13 today. I look forward to continuing our study, and love getting your comments. A specific shout out to Ian if he is able to watch this later. Thank you for watching these and adding your thoughts to the group. Really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you're engaging with us. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you all tomorrow. God bless.